Hello, my name is Yvette. I am the co-founder of the Stash Hub Sewing Organizer app. And today I'm going to be sharing with you my review of my 2025 projects with the help of my Stash Hub Wrapped. But before I get into that, I need to update you guys and also my Stash Hub with a couple of new things. So the first thing that I need to share with you is a new fabric. So I actually ordered this fabric quite a while ago, like in September, and I ordered it on Vinted. So if you didn't know, you can get secondhand fabrics on Vinted sometimes, and it's quite dangerous because Vinted is very algorithmy, so it knows what you like and what you tend to click on and buy, so then it will show you more fabrics and other things that you might be tempted to buy. But anyway, I spotted this fabric on Vinted, and this was a fabric that I saw online a few years ago, well, at least a couple of years ago, I'd say, and it's a dead stock fabric that was available from a few of the UK independent shops, such as Hey Sew Sister and Sew Me Sunshine. And I just really loved it at the time, but I thought I'll be sensible and I won't buy it because I didn't have a plan for it and I was buying lots of other fabric at the time. So I didn't get it then, but when I saw it come back around on Vinted, I was like, wow, I remember that fabric. I really liked it. I absolutely love the colors. And this kind of mid-scale floral is my favorite. So I was like, right, I'm going to get it for myself now because it feels meant to be now that it's come back for me. So I ordered it on Vinted back in September and got the notification that it had been delivered to my local corner shop, but they couldn't find it in their shop. So I went back several times, they could never find it. And then I got a notification saying it had been sent back to the sender. So I was like, okay. But then the sender never received it back. So luckily, I was able to get a refund through Vinted and the seller was paid as well. So no one lost any money, but I was just really sad that the gorgeous fabric was lost. But then it showed up with the sender and they really kindly messaged me and said, are you still interested in this fabric? Because if so, I can send it to you. So I was really grateful for that. And then, yeah, now I've got this lovely fabric. So I'll hold it up close so you can see it a bit better. But it's really gorgeous. It's got this kind of bottle green background and then these gorgeous fabrics in kind of green and orange. So I'm really excited about that. I'm probably going to save it for the spring and maybe make a dress with some like kind of long floaty sleeves if I've got enough fabric. So there's 2.75 meters here. So I've already pre-washed this one and got it uploaded to my Stash Hub. So I'm really excited to finally have this in my stash. So yeah, that just shows that the fabric FOMO doesn't have to be the end of it. You can always find it in the future potentially, because those fabrics that you've got your eye on, if you miss out on them, they're going to end up in someone else's stash and then they might not end up sewing them. So you could get them after all. So that is my fabric acquisition since the Knit and Stitch show. And then I've also finished one small project, which I'm really pleased with because it's December now. And this is the first project that I've finished since the start of October, because I've had a really busy couple of months with traveling to different shows and lots of family stuff going on. So really pleased to be back behind the sewing machine for a bit. So this is my project that I've made. It's a little kids dress, which I'm going to donate to the Dress a Girl Around the World charity. I think I've already mentioned that project on this channel before, but I'll pop links in the description if you're interested in joining in yourself. And yeah, so this is a free pattern called the Peasant Dress pattern. It's got elastic around the neckline and top of the raglan sleeves. And it's a great way for using up cotton remnants. So this fabric is from Bornella and is a remnant of a dress that I originally made for my mum. And then I love doing a contrast sleeve and pocket. So this pink gingham I picked up at the Surrey Sews swap recently. So I think that's turned out really cute. And I've even got a little Dress a Girl label on it there. So let's get this added to my stash hub because I haven't recorded it yet. This is my stash hub. You can see my new fabric that I've added there. Let's go to projects, and these are my completed projects. Let's create a new project. I'm going to call it DAG for Dresser Girl. I'm going to call it Floral and Gingham. So usually I would set up my projects on Stash Hub beforehand, but I haven't created a Stash Hub project for this. So I thought I'd do it along with you guys. So then add the fabric. So I've got the gingham fabric here, and then you can add as many fabrics as you want to a single project. So I know this fabric is called Super Bloom, so I can search for it. There we go. So it's this pink cotton version. So I can click on that. And then I'm going to put in the length used. So I've got a few sort of scraps of this one left. And then this one I've used all of it that was left because I've cut out 2 dresses. So I'm just going to put in 1.17 there so that I can update the fabrics to being used. So if you scroll down to the checklist, I've already prepared the pattern because I've made it loads of times. When you tick on cut out, it gives you the option to update those fabrics. So this pink mini gingham, I'm going to switch to scraps, and then Super Bloom is fully used up. I've got nothing left. So when I click confirm, those will be updated in the fabric section. So then I need to add the pattern, which is called the peasant dress. Search for that as well, get that in there. So I've set up a person for Dresser Girl so that I can keep a record of all of the ones that I make. And then I'm just going to leave these bits blank. Actually, in Notions, I'm going to add that I used the label. Right, where's my labels? There. And then Dresser Girl, and I can click into there and update the quantity to 39. But yeah, I didn't make it for a challenge or with a particular inspiration, and I've already made it, so I've got nothing to add on the shopping list. So I have already sewn it, and I have done a photograph, so let's add that photo. I can drag the photo in from my gallery on the computer. So there we go. That's my picture of my cute little dress. And then I can switch the status at the top from planning to complete. Ta-da! Okay, so now let's get on to the meat of this video, having a look at my Stash Hub Wrapped. So if you haven't found your Wrapped yet, it's in settings. So if you go to settings in Stash Hub and then click on Wrapped. So we've done this for a few years now. So for this year, I want Stash Hub Wrapped 2025. So this is a video of some of my makes. And then these are stats about what I've made and some collages of my fabric purchases this year and my makes. But I need to update this because now I've just added a new project. So I can click on this refresh button at the top right, and that's going to regenerate my Wrapped. So the video doesn't get updated, but my stats and my collages will. So there's my video. Should we have a watch of that? was a fun little snippet of some of my projects this year, and then I can have a look at my updated stats and my collage of fabric purchases and my collage of all of my projects. So I thought it would be really fun to compare my Wrapped 2025 to my Wrapped from previous years, and we can all have a look at how my sewing has changed over the years. So these are my stats with 2025 on the left, 2024 in the middle, and 2023 on the right. And if you look across fabric stashed for all 3 years, I've been pretty consistent in the amount of fabric I've bought each year. So 59 this year, 51 last year, and 53 the year before. So I've acquired slightly more fabrics this year than previous years, but not significantly. So I guess that's good as a sign that I haven't gone crazy buying tons and tons of fabric this year. But if you switch down to the diagonally opposite corner, which is projects complete, you can see that in 2025, I've completed 37 projects this year, which is lower than in 2024 and 2023, which were 47 projects and 42 projects respectively. So I do need to bear that in mind in terms of my fabric stashing habits, because I don't want to be acquiring fabric much more rapidly than I am sewing it, because that's going to make my stash start overflowing and become overwhelming. So I have been very busy, especially towards the end of this year, with doing lots of traveling and lots of personal stuff as well. So hopefully I'll be able to pick up and do more sewing in the new year. But if I do keep sewing at a reduced pace, then I'm going to have to reduce my fabric stashing habits in line with that as well. Then you can see my favourite shop is Surrey Sews Swap, which has been my favourite shop for 2 years running. And I think I said this to Zoe on the Check Your Thread podcast, but I'm an absolute sucker for fabric swaps. I'm quite tight with money and spending money on fabric, but when it comes to picking things up at a swap, if I see something that's really good quality, I just can't resist it. So I have acquired quite a lot of stuff at a swap, but it is a really good way to refresh the stash. And if there's stuff that I don't get around to using, I can always give that back to the next swap, as I'm sure there will be more swaps in my future. Then the last stat to dig into is my top pattern sewn, which is obviously the peasant dress, which was my top pattern last year as well. So this is the free pattern that I used to make the kids' dresses for Project Dress a Girl. And I have made 16 this year. So that one I showed you earlier was my 16th version of that dress that I've made in 2025. So you can see why that is my top pattern, and you'll see it popping up on my makes collage in a minute as well. In general, I'm not much of a pattern repeater. I think the only pattern that I've sewn more than one version of this year is the Vicky May bag, which I've made 2 versions of. So I made one bag for myself and one for Doug, and they are deceptively roomy. You can fit a 500ml water bottle in there. So they are a really handy bag to carry around, so you've got enough stuff on you, but you're not lugging around a huge bag. So that would probably be my top pattern if I hadn't been making the peasant dresses or I hadn't included them in my stats. Next up, let's take a peek at my fabric collage of all the fabrics that I've bought this year. It does make me happy to see that a lot of fabrics on this list I recognised as ones that I've already sewn. So of the 59 fabrics that came into my stash this year, I have sewn up quite a lot of them already, so that's good news. And then I don't think there's anything strikingly different between the 2025 fabric collage on the left and my 2024 top right and 2023 bottom right. There's a lot of colour still, a lot of pattern. I think maybe I've got a few more plains coming into my stash this year, and I've got a few more knits as well, which you can't see from the picture, but I know that I have been buying knits and still not quite yet got round to making a t-shirt, but that is something that is on my list of stuff that I would like to achieve. So nothing massively different in acquiring fabrics this year, but I'm still really happy with my stash and the colour and the variety that I've got. So there's quite a lot of greens on my fabric collage this year, and blue and green are still the top fabric colours in my Stash Hub fabric stats. So I'd be interested to see your guys' stats if you've got different favourite colours that show up in your stash. I'm also a big fan of florals and have been over the years, so you can see that I've still got quite a lot of florals coming into my stash this year as well. And last but very much not least, let's have a look at the lovely collage of all the projects that I've made over the years. So on the left, we've got our 2025 projects. So you can see all my lovely little dresses that I made for Project Dresser Girl, and the usual kind of colourful blouses and dresses that I tend to make for myself. I made a few more things for others this year. I did a couple of dresses for my mum because she was on the catwalk a couple of times, and I made a shirt for my dad for the first time, which was exciting. He actually chose the fabric himself at the Stitch Festival. And then I started getting into bag making. So I've made a couple of bag projects and also done a little bit of self-drafting because I self-drafted the dress that I wore to the Stitch Festival on one of the days. So I've had lots of fun in sewing, even if I didn't get quite as much time to sew as I would have liked. If you pressed me for what were my favourite projects of the year, I think I would have to say this blouse I'm wearing right now, which is a patina blouse made with an Indian block print fabric. And I've got these gorgeous Ethel and Joan buttons as well. So I've got loads of wear out of this blouse this year. It's really, really comfy and vibrant. So I made that for the Sew Yellow for Endo challenge earlier in the year. And then the other project that I've made that has been one of my favorites is the ME 2016 pattern that I made to wear at the Festival of Quilts in this super fun and vibrant fabric. So when I was making that, I kind of had to redo the darts and sort of improvise them because when I tried it on, they weren't in the right place. So I was on a bit of a downer at the end of that project, you know, when you kind of struggle through a project and you think, oh no, that didn't go to plan. But now that I kind of sorted it and I'm over the experience of doing the sewing part, I actually really like that dress, love the fabric, and I have worn it a lot. So those are probably my top two projects in terms of what I've made this year and got the most wear out of. But yeah, I'm really pleased with all of my projects that I've made this year and can't wait to see what's happening in 2026 because I'm sure I'll get loads of new inspiration that I haven't even thought of yet. So I'll do another video soon where I share my upcoming plans and the things that I really want to make in the new year. So I think I'm going to probably start off with some sewing for my holiday. So that'll be really exciting. And maybe I'll think about kind of putting together a capsule from my stash as well. So lots to look forward to sewing wise in the new year, and hopefully I'll get a little bit more time for sewing than I have done, especially towards the end of this year, which has been really, really busy. But yeah, hopefully you guys have had a really fun year in sewing. And yeah, as I said earlier, I would love to see your wrapped and hear about what you have loved making this year. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if I don't get a chance to chat to you before, I hope you have a wonderful festive season, whatever you're up to, and a happy new year. Bye!